slowly beginning to lengthen and deepen. And just making the breath a little bit audible. This helps to control it, doesn't it? Okay, so as always for a Friday morning, I start with 5 Surya Namaskara A, and then we do 3B, but you can always skip the vinyasa bit if you want to. Okay, on the next inhale, take the arms out, around and up and gaze up. And then as you exhale, hinge forward from the hips and drop the head. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to find your way back. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1. So as always, just let yourself warm up nice and gently. 2. Just trying to maintain that connection to the breath in and out through the nose. 3. 4. And 5. And then inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping or floating forward. And then when you're there, forward bend. Inhale to come up. Bring the hands to touch. And then exhale, Samasthiti. Keep going. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, come forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale to step or jump back. Plank or chaturanga. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1. So as soon as you get to downward facing dog, connect back to your breath. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale to look forward, step, hop, float or walk forward. And then when you're there, forward bend. Inhale to come up. Bring the hands to touch. And then exhale, Samasthiti. Continuous movement. Inhale, arms up. As we exhale, come forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Plank or chaturanga. Down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1. So start to think about pressing the mat away with the hands. 2. Lifting up out of the shoulders. 3. Can you start to press the front of the leg to the back of the leg? 4. And 5. Inhale to look forward, step, hop, float or walk forward. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhale to come up. Bring the hands to touch. And then exhale, Samasthiti. Keep going. Inhale, arms up. As we exhale, come forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, find your way back. Plank or chaturanga. Down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1. So Ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. 2. Think about the sit bones lifting a little bit higher. 3. Shin bones back. 4. And 5. Inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping or floating forward. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhaling to come up. Bring the hands to touch. And then exhale, Samasthiti. Keep going. Inhale, arms up. As we exhale, come forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Plank or chaturanga. Down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1. So remember a little bit of extra pressure at the base of the index finger and the base of the thumb. 2. And then you start to think about that slight outward rotation with the shoulders as well. 3. At the same time, you're pressing the shin bones back. 4. And 5. Inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping or floating forward. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhaling to come up. Bring the hands to touch and then exhale, Samasthiti. Surya Namaskara B as you inhale, bend the knees, raise the arms. Exhale, come forward and drop the head. Inhale, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, step, jump back, plank or chaturanga, down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back into down dog. The left foot turns, the right foot steps, come up, breathe in, hands touch. Exhale, take the hands down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog, and then exhale back into down dog. The right foot turns, the left foot steps, come up, breathe in, hands touch. Exhale, take the hands down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog, and then exhale back. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths. 1. So can you soften a little bit around the base of your neck? 2. Slide the shoulder blades up the back. 3. Try to let go of the weight of the head and neck. 4. And 5. Inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping or floating forward. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhale, come straight up into chair pose, Utkatasana. And then exhale, release, continuous movement. Inhale, bend the knees, raise the arms. Exhale, come forward and drop the head. Inhale, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, step, jump back, plank or chaturanga. Down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back into down dog. The left foot turns, the right foot steps, come up, breathe in, hands touch. Exhale, take the hands down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog, and then exhale back into down dog. The right foot turns, the left foot steps, come up, breathe in, hands touch. Exhale, take the hands down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog, and then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1, so calming your breath straight away. 2, think about that softness at the base of the neck. 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping or floating forward. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhale, come straight up into Utkatasana. And then exhale, release. Keep going. Inhale, bend the knees, raise the arms. Exhale, come forward and drop the head. Inhale, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, step, jump back, plank or chaturanga. Down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back into down dog. The left foot turns, the right foot steps. Come up, breathe in, hands touch. Exhale, take the hands down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. And then exhale back into down dog. The right foot turns, the left foot steps. Come up, breathe in, hands touch. Exhale, take the hands down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths. 1, so straight away calm your breath. 2, Ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. 3, think about expanding into the rib cage as much as you can. 4, and 5, inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping or floating forward. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhale, come straight up into chair pose. And then exhale, release. Well done. Okay, feet to hip width, outside edges of the feet parallel. Hands come to the waist. Inhale, find length. Exhale, come forward, hinging from the hips. So remember, knees can bend as much as they need to. Take first 2 fingers around the big toes. Inhale, head up and lengthen. And then exhale, fold. 5 breaths there. 1, so lifting up out of the big toes. 2, shoulder blades up your back. 3, any amount, sit bones rotate to the ceiling. 4, and 5, inhale, head up. On the exhale, take the hands beneath the feet, so toes right towards the wrists, remember. Inhale, head up and lengthen. And then exhale, fold. 5 breaths there. 1, so actively drawing the shoulders up the back. 2, let go of the weight of the head and neck. 3, bring the weight more to the balls of the feet there as well. 4, and 5, inhale, head up. On the exhale, bring the hands back to the waist, and then inhale, Uddiyana Bandha brings you all the way up. And then exhale, step back forward, Samasthiti. Next inhale, big step back right foot, and then rotate round. Right foot faces the back of the room, left foot turns slightly in, arms up to shoulder height, inhale, find length. And then as we exhale, reach with the right arm, find Trikonasana. So stop wherever you need to, and then left arm reaches up. You can start to think about aiming towards first 2 fingers around the big toes, but make sure that you're not leaning forward to do that. If that's the case, 5 breaths. 1, so reach up through the left fingertips. 2, can you lengthen the right hand side of the body? 3, any amount, turn your chest. 4, and 5, look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then rotate. Okay, so make sure you're lining up heel to arch. Inhale, find length. And then as you exhale, reach. So again, finding your version of Trikonasana. Maybe first 2 fingers come around the big toes, maybe not. 5 breaths. 1, make sure the tailbone's pointing to the back of the right heel. 2, and you're really widening across the collarbones. 3, gazing towards the right thumb if you can. 4, and 5, look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then exhale, step back forward, Samasthiti here. Okay, another step back right foot. Should have gone straight into that, but we're going to rotate round and facing the wrong way. Okay, right foot faces the back of the mat, left foot turns slightly in. Bring the right arm behind your back, and then inhale, take the left arm up, find length. And then as we exhale, come forward, maintaining all of that length on the front of the torso. So Parivrtta Trikonasana. Left hand can come down anywhere down right leg, or to a block, or to the floor, and on the little toe side of the foot. Check what's going on in your low back. So you maybe want to draw the right hip back a bit, lift up the left hip, right hand stays there, or inhale, right arm up. 5 breaths there. 1, find length with the inhales. 2, rotating as you exhale. 3, 4, and 5. Look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then rotate. Okay, left foot forward, right foot turns slightly in, left arm behind your back. Inhale, take the right arm up, find length. And then as you exhale, come forward, maintaining that length. Left hip draws back, hand anywhere down the leg. Use a block or come to the floor. Left arm to the low back, try and be level. Hand stays there, or inhale, left arm up. 5 breaths there. 1, so finding length with the inhales. 2, rotating as you exhale. 3, 4, and 5, look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then exhale, step back forward, Samasthiti. From Samasthiti, big step back, so a really big one, and then rotate with the feet, same line up, heel to arch. Bring the arms up to shoulder height. Inhale, find length. And then as you exhale, bend into the right knee. Elbow can come to the knee, or the hand comes to the floor on the outside of the foot. And then the left arm comes up and over. 5 breaths. So you can always use a block here as well, remember. 1, try to turn your chest. 2, find length on the right hand side of the torso. 3, inner left thighs lifting up. 4, and 5, look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then rotate. Inhale to find length. Exhale, bending into the left knee, elbow to knee, or hand to the floor, and then the right arm up and over. 5 breaths. 1, so again, make sure the chest isn't facing down, whatever version you're in. 2, inner right thigh lifts. 3, turn your chest. 4, and 5, look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then rotate. Okay, so revolve version of this one, do it in stages. I mean, you don't need to drop the left knee if you're getting comfortable with this. So I'll leave it up to you, but dropping the left knee kind of helps us come into it. So dropping the left knee or keeping it up if you like a challenge. Left hand comes to the left shoulder. Inhale to find length, and then exhale to rotate. So you can stick to elbow to the outside of the knee, bring the hands together as always. You can start to work towards getting the shoulder to the outside of the knee, and then bringing the left hand down, and then the right arm comes up and over. Whichever option you're in, you can lift the knee. Maybe you start to work towards finding warrior 1, back foot there as well. Take 5 breaths. 1, find length with the inhales. 2, rotate the chest as you exhale. 3, 4, And 5, look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then rotate. Okay, so right knee doesn't need to come down. If you're getting good at this one, you can come straight into it, but it does help a bit to drop the knee, so it's up to you. Bring the right hand to the right shoulder. Inhale to find length. And then exhale, rotate. Stick to the hands together variation, or you're going to bring the right hand down, left arm over. Maybe you tuck the toes, lift the knee. Maybe you can get the warrior one back foot as well. 5 breaths. 1. So if we've gone for the full version, 2, try to suck the outer left hip in as well. 3, and then turn your chest. 4 and 5. Look down for some balance. Inhale to come up, arms up, and then exhale, step back forward, Samasthiti. From Samasthiti, big step back, and then we'll set up for the wide leg forward bends. Foot one of your leg lengths distance, turn your toes in. We all know about Uddiyana Bandha. Bring the hands to the waist. Inhale to find length, and then exhale, come forward, maintaining that length. Hands can come anywhere down the legs or to the floor below the shoulders. Inhale, head up and lengthen. And then exhale, fold. 5 breaths. 1, so walk the hands beneath you, if that's okay with you. 2, start to work the elbows together if the elbows are bent. 3, weight towards the balls of the feet. 4, and 5, inhale, head up. On the exhale, hands back to waist, and then inhale, Uddiyana Bandha, come to bring you up. And then exhale. Inhale, arms out to the side. Exhale, hands back to waist. Inhale, find length. And then exhale, come forward, maintaining the length. Hands stay on the waist this time. Elbows draw back. And then relax the head and neck. 5 breaths. 1. So lift your kneecaps. 2, can you bring the weight more to the balls of the feet? 3, remember inner thighs spin back. 4 and 5. Inhale, Uddiyana Bandha to come all the way up. And exhale. Inhale, arms out to the side. Exhale, hands behind you, interlace fingers. Inhale to push the hands away, open the chest. And then exhale, come forward. So pressing the hands away, if it's okay with the shoulders. And take 5 breaths. 1, but inner thighs spin back. 2, if you're ever in a class and someone adjusts you in this pose and pushes your hands down, really push away with the hands there. 3. Get used to doing that all the time. 4 and 5, and then inhale, Uddiyana Bandha brings you all the way up. Exhale, hands back to waist. Inhale, find length, and then exhale, come forward. So hands can come down the legs this time. If you can take first your fingers around the big toes, do that. And then inhale, head up and lengthen, and then exhale, fold. 5 breaths there. 1, so lifting up out of the big toes. 2, shoulder blades at the back. 3, weight more in the balls of the feet. 4 and 5, inhale, head up. On the exhale, hands back to the waist, and then inhale, Uddiyana Bandha to come all the way up. And exhale, step back forward. Samasthiti. Okay, reverse namaste, and then small step back, medium step back with the right foot, rotate round. Hold the elbows or forearms if you don't like this. Inhale to open the chest. And then exhale, come forward over the right leg. Right hip draws back, lifting up out of the left hip. Chin towards the shin, gaze towards your right big toe. 5 breaths. 1, so lengthen forward with the chest on the inhales. 2, and then chin to the shin as you exhale. 3, can you press into the ball of the big toe on your right foot? 4 and 5. Inhale, Uddiyana Bandha brings you up, and then as you exhale, rotate. Inhale to open the chest. And then exhale, come forward over the left leg, leading with the chin. Left hip draws back, gaze towards the left big toe. 5 breaths. 1, lengthen forward with the chest on the inhale. 2, chin to the shin as you exhale. 3, if you're in reverse namaste, try and keep pressing the hands together as well. 4 and 5. Inhale, Uddiyana Bandha to come all the way up. And exhale, step back forward, give your wrist a little shake. Samasthiti. Okay, from here, balancing. Always comes quite quickly, the balancing, doesn't it? Okay, use the wall if you need to, adjust if you need to. Take the weight and stay left foot. It's quite nice to work towards this. Once you're getting good at this, you might start to think about just lifting the right leg and coming straight up into it. But your version, try to draw the right shoulder back if you're straightening the leg. Outer right hip down, remember, take 5 breaths. Want to squeeze the outer left hip in as well. 2, once the leg's straight, you're pushing away with the ball of the big toe. 3, 4, and 5. And then inhale, head up. Exhale, kneel the leg out to the side, gazing over the opposite shoulder if you can for 5 breaths. 1, lost the plot. 2, outer right hip down. 3, outer left hip in. 4, and 5. Inhale to bring the knee or the leg back forward. Hands to waist and then hold the leg out. 5 breaths. 1, keep dropping that outer right hip down. 2, point through the toes. 3, 4, and last one. 5, feeling the hip flexors today. Okay, shaking the legs out and then coming straight to the other side. So you can start to work towards this if you want to. You might find it easier on one side as always. Try to draw the left shoulder back if the leg is straight. Outer left hip down. 5 breaths. 1, right elbow draws back. 2, keep lifting the chest. 3, make sure you're standing up nice and tall as well. 4, and 5. Inhale, head up. And then exhale, kneel the leg out to the side. Gaze over the opposite shoulder if you can. 5 breaths. 1, outer right hip in. 2, outer left hip down. 3, right elbow draws back as well. 4, and 5. Inhale to bring the knee or the leg back forward. Hands to waist and then hold the leg out. 5 breaths. 1, still that outer left hip is dropping down. 2, just level in the pelvis as you can be. 3, elbows draw back. 4, and last one. 5. Okay, tree pose. So whatever you want to do, if you're happy with the half lotus, you can come into that. Remember, before you rotate when you're doing half lotus, to make sure that knee is as closed as it can be, and then taking the foot with the left hand. Okay, eventually you take the right hand around the back and you take hold of your right big toe, and if you can do that, great. And you can work on then relaxing into that right hip and standing there. Take 5 breaths. 1, if you can't quite make the bind, take the crook of the elbow. 2, otherwise come into standard tree. 3, 4, and 5. And then inhale, head up. Exhale to release. That's another one of those ones, that bind, you think you're never going to get it and then you do. So okay, remember, protect your knee, do standard tree if you're not sure. Otherwise, you can come into the half lotus variation and work on trying to relax the hip so that that knee points straight down. Pubic bone comes forward. You can take the crook of the elbow, bind if you can bind. Take 5 breaths. 1, lift the chest. 2, make sure the shoulders are relaxed. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale to release, coming back to the front of your mat. Samasthiti Vinyasa. Inhale, take the arms up above the head and gaze up. As you exhale, hinge forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog. Inhaling to look forward and then stepping, hopping, floating, walking both feet forward. And then come straight up into chair pose, Utkatasana. My favourite. 5 breaths. 1, so palms together if you can. 2, shoulder blades down the back. 3, still got that action with our sit bones as always. 4, and 5. As you exhale, come forward, abdomen to the thighs, take the hands down, relax the head and neck. Inhale for a halfway lift. As you exhale, you might want to practice your stepping or you might want to practice jumping backs. You can go straight to plank to begin with and then come down chaturanga. Eventually, you go straight to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. The left foot turns and the right foot steps. So coming up for warrior 1, 5 breaths. We all know our warrior 1's pretty well now. So take 5 breaths. Remember, outer right hip shaves back. 2, heavy in the tailbone. 3, ribs in. 4, and 5. Okay, keep the palms together. Keep the gaze up if you can as you rotate and come straight into warrior 1 on the other side. 5 breaths. 1, outer left hip shaves back. 2, lower ribs soften in. 3, 4 and 5. Exhaling to open out to warrior 2. So adjusting, usually you need to go a little bit wider. And then gaze over your left middle finger, 5 breaths. 1, heavy in the tailbone. 2, inner right thigh lifts. 3, shoulders relaxed. 4 and 5. Inhale, straighten into the front leg. Rotate and then exhale. Straight into warrior 2, the other side. 5 breaths. 1, heavy in the tailbone. 2, shoulder blades press in. 3, 4 and 5. Exhaling to cartwheel the hands down to frame the foot. Stepping it back to plank. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog, and then inhaling to look forward and then taking your seat. So you can work on your hopping into cross legs silently and then bring the legs straight out in front of you. Dandasana. Take the flesh away from your sit bones, hands down by your side, sit up nice and tall. Chin tucks, 5 breaths. 1. So remember all of the stuff in Dandasana that we need to do. 2, backs of the thighs are moving down. 3, shoulder blades down the back. 4 and 5. And then inhale to reach forward, first 2 fingers around the big toes if you can. Inhale, head up and lengthen. And then exhale, fold. 5 breaths there. 1, so use the breath to help you. 5, hands. 3, fold as you exhale. 4 and 5. Inhale, head up. And then exhale, come a little bit deeper. Outer edges of the feet if you can. Remember, if you do that, to push the balls of the big toes forward, and then inhale, head up and lengthen. And then exhale, fold. Take 5 breaths there. 1, using the breath to help us all the time. 2, lengthening forward with the chest as you inhale. 3, any amount coming further forward as you exhale. 4 and 5. And then inhale, head up. Exhale to release. We'll come straight to the counter pose. So hands about 30 centimeters behind you. Remember to do the bent knee version if you want to. And if you're going for straight leg version, legs together and then pressing into the hands, start to lift the chest and then inhale, lift up for 5 breaths. 1, aiming to get the soles of the feet down there. 2, keep lifting. 3, inner thighs roll towards each other. 4, head comes back if it's okay with the neck. And 5, and then exhale to slowly lower. Skip the vinyasas if you want to, or cross your legs, plant your palms, lift, step or jump back. You can start to practice jumping back if you want to from there. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to look forward, and then seeing if you can land in your cross legs silently. Once you start to land silently, we can start to think about the legs coming through. It's that core engagement. Okay, legs straight out in front of you. Okay, so here officially is half lotus, isn't it? So I'm going to do that this morning. Just be careful with your knees. You can always do the Janu if you don't want to do half lotus. You can always bring the right heel in and do Janu Shasana if you want to. Otherwise, when you're coming to half lotus, again, make sure that knee is completely closed. They call that closing the joint, so that when you then lift from underneath, supporting your ankle and rotate, it's coming from the hip and you don't feel it in your knee. If the hips are really tight, then stick to Janu, because it goes into the knee if the hips are tight. Okay, when we're in half lotus, we want the heel in the groin ideally, and the sole of the foot should be facing up, and this knee should be quite low. So if none of that is happening, stick to Janu. Okay, eventually here we take the right hand behind the back and we take hold of the big toe. If you're not getting there yet, you can always do the hold the crook of the elbow as well. So it's up to you. If you can bind, great. If it feels intense, stay there. Otherwise, inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale, come forward over the left leg, 5 breaths. 1. So again, lengthen forward with the chest as you inhale. 2, folding as you exhale. 3, 4, don't want any discomfort in that knee though, and 5, and then inhale, head up, exhale to release. Okay, switching. So again, don't compromise your knees. It's easy to kind of just try and force it, isn't it? And don't. So make sure that knee joint is sealed. It's as closed as can be. and then you lift from underneath and rotate from the hip, and the heel comes into the groin. The sole of the foot should be working towards pointing up. Okay, you could take the foot with the right hand and then take the crook of the other elbow, otherwise you bind there, or you do Janu, up to you. Taking hold of the right foot if you've got the bind. Inhale to lift the chest, and then exhale to fold. 5 breaths. 1. So again, if you've got the bind, 2, try to think about squaring the left shoulder forward as well. 3, find length with the chest on the inhales. 4, folding as you exhale. And 5, inhale, head up. Exhale to release. Take a break if you want to, or cross the legs, and you can practice from here, crossing the legs, putting the palms down, lifting. Maybe you can come straight back. Chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog, and then inhaling to look forward, seeing if you can hop silently into your cross legs. Maybe even see if you can pause before you land, and then bring the legs straight out in front of you again. Okay, right knee bends back for half virasana. If you need to support that left hip a little bit, do. If you need to adjust it, do, so that lower leg can be out to the side. But if you can, bring the calf in, and then the knees are together. You might take that calf flesh out of the way, and then inhale, take the arms up above the head, find length, and then exhale, come forward over the left leg. Take hold of the foot or the shin, inhale, head up and lengthen, and then exhale, fold. 5 breaths. 1. So again, if you easily get your foot here, 2, you start to think about reaching for the left wrist around the sole of the foot. 3, finding length with the inhales with the chest. 4 and 5. Okay, inhale, head up, exhale to release. Lovely little place to work on our transitions. So you can have a little go at this if you want to, because eventually there's a vinyasa between each side as well, and I skip them because we've only got an hour. But this is a great place to work on our transitions, and we're all getting really strong, so you might be able to do this. Okay, hands down by the side of your hips, and then lift. And then you manoeuvre the left foot back, and you come straight to Chaturanga from there. Hopefully land on the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. And you can even start to think about working towards coming straight into that pose once you've worked on your jump throughs a little bit on the other side. So you might start to think about hopping forward, and then the left knee stays back and come straight into half virasana. I'm just laying the groundwork. Okay, adjust that if you need to. Try to have your sit bones level. Take that calf flesh out of the way. And then inhale, take the arms up, find length. Exhale, come forward. 5 breaths. 1. So again, once you're easily reaching the foot, you work towards taking the wrist around the back of the foot. 2, find length with the inhales. 3, fold as you exhale. 4 and 5, and then inhale, head up, exhale to release. Maybe you want to see if you can come straight back from here, so hands down by the hips, you lift, maneuver the right foot back to Chaturanga, or not. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog, and then inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping to cross legs. See if you can land silently, and then bring the legs straight out in front of you again. Okay, I'll go straight to cradle, because this helps with our half lotus, doesn't it? So bend the right knee, bring the heel in, palms up, lift from below, supporting the ankle. So lifting from beneath and then rotating from the hip. So you might want to stay anywhere down here if your hips are tight. Otherwise, foot comes to the crook of the elbow, knee to the crook of the other elbow. Lovely hip stretch actually after intense core classes. Take 5 breaths. 1, lift the chest. 2, maybe you can lift the shin a bit higher as well. 3, should just be feeling that in your outer hip. 4 and 5, inhale, head up, exhale to release, switch, then the left knee, palms up, lift from underneath, support everything and rotate from the hip, stay there, or elbow, foot into crook of the elbow, knee into crook of the other elbow, sit up as tall as you can. 5 breaths. 1, lift the shin a bit higher if you're comfortable there. 2, and maybe you draw the foot shin a bit closer into the chest as well. 3, 4 and 5, inhale, head up. Exhale to release, take a break or cross your legs, lift, step or jump back. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and then exhale back. Downward facing dog, and then inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping, coming to seated. You might start to think about the legs coming straight out, and then we'll bend up the right knee, bring the heel in. Hands width distance between the foot and the thigh. Left hand down by your left hip. Inhale, take the right arm up, find length. Exhale, come forward, stay there, or rotate the shoulder forward and wrap the arm around. And remember, if you're working on this bind, you can hold it close, use a belt. Once you make the bind, go for the wrist if you can, and then draw the hands down a little bit. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, come forward, 5 breaths. 1. One of my favourite poses, this too. Find length forward with the chest as you inhale. 3, chin to the shin as you exhale. 4, and 5, and then inhale, head up. Exhale to release. Little work on your strength if you want to. Tricep to the shin, hands by the hips, lift and lower. We'll have a go at going to chaturanga soon from there, and then stretch away the right leg, bring the left heel in. Okay, hands width distance, same thing. Stay at whatever level you want to, or inhale, left arm up, and then come forward, rotating the shoulder forward, wrapping the arm around, binding if you can bind, go for the wrist if you can, draw the hands down, and then inhale, head up, lengthen, exhale, fold, 5 breaths. 1. So this is great for helping us to work towards leg behind the head pose. 2, find length forward with the chest as you inhale. 3, chin to the shin as we exhale. 4, and 5, inhale, head up, exhale to release. A little bit of work on your strength if you want to. You can maybe lift and much harder on that side for me, and then lower, and then come straight to your vinyasa across the legs. Step or jump back. Down through the knees or chaturanga. Remember, don't come too low in chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and then exhale back. Downward facing dog, inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping. See if you can stop and maybe bring the legs all the way through when you come down. It's not easy that though, so little by little we get there. Okay, I'll come into the twist Marichyasana C. So right heel comes in, and then take the right arm behind you. You can lean back if you need to there to help you turn the chest as always. Hook the elbow to the outside of the knee, or the shoulder rotates forward and you wrap the arm around, binding there if you can bind. Wherever you are, sit up as tall as you can, inhale, lengthen, exhale, rotate, 5 breaths. 1, stay active with the straight leg as well. 2, press away through the ball of the big toe. 3, finding length with the inhales. 4, rotating as you exhale. And 5, inhale to look forward, exhale to release, and then switch. So bend the left knee, heel in, left hand behind you, hook the elbow, lean back if you need to turn. Elbow can come to the outside of the knee, or you rotate the shoulder forward, wrap the arm around, binding if you can bind. Start to work towards the wrist once you can get the bind easily. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Exhale, rotate, 5 breaths. 1, push away with the ball of the big toe. 2, find length with the inhales. 3, rotate as you exhale. 4, and 5, inhale to look forward. Exhaling to release, skip the vinyasa across your legs, plant the palms, lift, step or jump back. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to look forward, and then stepping, hopping, floating, coming to seated, maybe working on the legs coming straight through, and then Navasana. 5 breaths in Navasana, so your version. Cheat if you need to. Remember, don't hang into the low back. 1, keep lifting the chest. 2, legs straight if you can. 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release, cross your legs. Inhale, lift everything that you can. Exhale, lower, and then come straight back. Navasana, 5 breaths. 1, keep lifting the chest. 2, smiling all the way. 3, we love Navasana, don't we? 4, and 5. Exhale, release, cross your legs. Inhale, lift everything that you can. Exhale, lower, and then come straight back. Navasana, 5 breaths. 1, keep lifting the chest. 2, point through the toes if you can. 3, 4, and 5, and then exhale, release, cross your legs, rest, or come straight to your vinyasa, step or jump back, down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Okay, so we've done this the last few weeks, Bhujangasana, working towards Bhujangasana. And since you guys are all pretty strong and familiar with this, we'll have a little go again. So remember, when we are coming to Bhujangasana, we eventually actually jump straight into it. I'm not even going to try and show you that this morning. But to begin with, we work on hopping the feet to the outside of the hands. Same thing though, try to land silently. We always want to try and land silently, actually. But if you're not comfortable to hop the feet to the outside of the hands, you can just step them there. And that might be enough for now. So you can always just sort of stop at whatever point you need to. So that may well be enough, stopping right there. Okay, if you can start to bring the feet in front of the hands, then you can do that. Keeping the palms down and then bending the elbows and sitting onto the triceps. And then again, that may well be enough. You know, that's not a particularly normal position to be in, is it? So please feel free to stay with that. Otherwise, we work towards right foot, ankle crossing in front of the left. It's always the right first with Ashtanga. And then we squeeze and we lift. And then the feet come up. And then eventually there, you start to bring the weight forward and maybe the forehead comes down. But I'm not doing that because I'll face plant the floor. Take 5 breaths. 1, 2. Keep squeezing if you come all the way. 3, 4, and 5. And then from there, we kind of unscramble the legs, work them back to a crow pose. So that's not the easiest thing to do in the world, is it? So if you want to come straight to crow, you can. And then bring the knees to the back of the triceps and you start to find your crow. You might find you can lift both feet. Eventually you inhale in crow and then you exhale, chaturanga, crash ball, inhale upward facing dog or cobra, exhale back, downward facing dog. Okay, I wonder how we're getting on with that because Kamasana, tortoise, eventually we come into that in a similar way. So I'm going to have a little go at this to see how we get on. It's actually quite nice to work on what we need to be doing for Bhujangasana and Kamasana doing this. Okay, so from here, if you can, look forward, hop the feet to the outside of the hands again. And then this time, we're going to see if we can get the arms underneath. See if you can kind of work your shoulders underneath. And you could work towards kind of bringing the hands up here. I used to be able to bind there. Should be able to. If I this is actually a second series pose. But it's quite nice to work on that while you're kind of working on your Kamasana. So you kind of work your arms as much as you can under there. And then bring the hands down. And then sit again onto your triceps, but then this time you lower the bum down. And then you kind of wiggle your way back, keeping the shoulders under the knees if you can. Okay, now if none of that is happening at the moment, and then you reach the arms forward, not come into that very deeply. But if none of that is happening at the moment, just do what we usually do now. Take hold of the outer edges of the feet and then wiggle your way back. And then forward bend, 5 breaths. 1, keep lengthening forward with the chest as you inhale though. 2, and then chin comes down as you exhale. 3, so eventually we keep the shoulders below the knees and the arms come back there. 4, it's a deep bend though, isn't it? And 5, and then inhale, head up. And then we bring the feet closer for variation of sleeping tortoise. You might be able to wiggle the hips a little bit further back there or not. And then inhale to lift the chest, exhale, fold. 5 breaths. 1. So it's a really nice deep stretch that, isn't it? For the hips. 2, find length with the chest forward as you inhale. 3, fold as you exhale. 4 and 5. And then inhale, head up. Exhale to release and scramble yourself from there. Cross your legs, plant the palms, lift, step or jump back. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhaling for your back bend, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, and then inhaling to look forward and taking a seat. Working on that landing silently. That is the key thing. We want to always try and land silently. Okay, I've got time for another pose. Well, just about. Okay, Upper Vista Konasana, because the upright version of this is nice, isn't it? Okay, take the legs wide. Remember, try to have the knees and the toes and the thighs all pointing up. You can always stay upright if you need to. Otherwise, hands down the shins, or first your fingers around the big toe, or you take the outer edges of the feet. And then inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to come forward. Remember not to curve your back to come forward. It's the chin that's making its way down here. 5 breaths. 1. Lengthen forward with the chest as you inhale. 2. Chin down as you exhale. 3, 4, and 5. And then inhale, head up. Maybe you can, I don't think my hip flexors are going to make this morning, but eventually you rock back and just bring the legs straight up into the balanced version, but you can start wherever. You can work on straightening the legs, lift the chest, gaze up to the ceiling, maybe 5 breaths. 1. Remember, don't collapse. 2. I'm a stuck record, but keep lifting the chest. 3, 4, and 5. Challenge yourself, see if your hip flexors can hold your legs there, and then cross. Come straight to your vinyasa, step or jump back. Down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping, floating. Coming to seated, landing silently. And then come down onto your back for your back bends. So it's a bridge pose or wheel, isn't it? Up to you. Again, don't compromise your shoulders or anything. Work towards your bridge, your wheel if you want to, with that hand position, because that definitely helps, I think, for the wrist flexibility. So you can stay with that, with the elbows pointing up. Remember, don't let the knees drift or the elbows drift if we're coming up. And then inhale, press into the feet, come up for bridge. Maybe you'll come straight into your wheel pose. Up to you. Take 5 breaths. 1. Remember, don't let the feet turn out. 2. Knees are reaching forward, not drifting open as well. 3. Chest comes more towards the back wall. 4. And 5. And then as you exhale, if you can just come down to the crown of the head, then do. And then walk the hands in a little bit closer. Take a nice big inhale. Nice big exhale. And then inhale to lift again. Take 5 breaths. 1. Keep lifting. 2. Again, chest moves back here. So the shoulders are more over the wrists. 3. Don't let the knees drift. 4. And 5, and then maybe you come back down to the crown of the head, and you maybe even bring the hands a little bit closer. But again, up to you, sticking to bridge or whatever, and then inhale, come up again, 5 breaths. 1. Keep lifting, whatever you're doing. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then this time, as we exhale and come down from wheel, you come down to the shoulders. So skip the neck, come to the back of the shoulders. And then let everything come down, and then bring the knees in and give yourself a little squeeze, a little bit of a back massage. So whatever there, side to side, circles, and then take the hands behind the thighs, rock up, come straight to Paschimottanasana, the counter pose. So legs straight out in front, take the flesh away from the sit bones, and then inhale, take the arms up, lift the chest. Exhale, come forward with the chest. Stop wherever you need to. Taking the feet or hands anywhere down the low legs. Inhale, head up, lengthen the chest forward. And then exhaling to fold. We'll take 8 breaths. 1. So if you have the feet, start to push the balls of the big toes forward and draw the outer edges back to you. 2. Still reaching forward with the chest. 3. But you can relax into that. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, and then inhale, head up, exhale to release. We'll come straight to shoulder stand. So as always, your version. This is another one that I've seen I'm not doing properly while I'm waffling on to you. So For shoulder stand, remember, stick to Viparita Karani to begin with if you want to, because if you're worried about your neck, just don't go there. We can stick to this, can't we? Okay, but if we are coming up to shoulder stand, we press into the hands, lift, walk the elbows in, and then make sure you keep your chin away from the chest. And then you want to really try to bring ankles, hips, shoulders all in a straight line. And I'm saying that to you all, and I see on the video that I'm not really doing it myself. So try to be as upright as you can in your shoulder stand, but keep the chin away from the chest. We'll take 5 breaths. 1, keep lifting. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then as we exhale, just coming to plough pose or as close to it as you can. So it's another one you don't ever want to force. Toes work towards coming down to the floor above your head, but you still want to keep the chin away from the chest. So if that's not happening, just don't come all the way with it. Do whatever. Once you're comfortable with plough, we try to be on the toenail side of the toes. So you've got to really engage your core even more there. Keep lifting the hips. You could take the hands away, interlace the fingers. You might even walk the shoulder blades a bit closer in. Push the triceps down and take 5 breaths. 1. Still lifting up the front of the body. 2. Chin is still away from the chest. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, from there, hands back to the low back, bend the knees deeply, roll down with control, bring the legs straight out in front of you, come up onto your elbows, left hand under left bum, right hand under right bum. So eventually, after Halasana, and then lift the chest, take the head back if it's okay with the neck, otherwise keep the head upright. So if you're not sure about your neck, just don't risk it, basically. If it's not feeling good, don't risk it. Lift the chest, and then we'll take 5 breaths there. Okay, well, so eventually after our Halasana plough pose, 2, keep lifting the chest. 3, we come into Urdhva Padmasana, which is an inverted lotus. 4, we can start maybe thinking about laying the groundwork for that soon. And 5, okay, from here you can stay here if you want to. If you can comfortably get the crown of the head down, you do that, and then the legs come up to 45 degrees, arms come up to 45 degrees, fingertips reach towards the toes. 5 breaths. 1, smiling. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you roll down the back of the head so that you protect your neck, and then we'll bring the knees into the chest, cross the shins, rock up and come straight to your vinyasa, step or jump back, come down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, exhale back, downward facing dog, and then we will briefly come to the knees and do a little bit of shoulder stuff. Yeah, you're good, you're good. So elbows below the shoulders. Always, I know I'm a step record, always make sure you can get your triceps, hands around the triceps a lot. So not just reaching, you want to be able to wrap the fingers around the triceps and stack your joints, stack your elbows below the shoulders. Okay, forearms forward, interlace the fingers. Outer edges of the forearms, outer edge of the hands press down. You've got a little basket with the fingers, one thumb rests on the other. And you can just stay with this, with the knees down, can't you? And you can just do the back and forth there. And you can practice that lifting up and out of the shoulders there too. So you just do whatever here. You might never want to do a headstand, but it's still nice to work on our shoulders and the stability there. Okay, otherwise you might lift the knees and you might do some of that. Eventually, crown of the head comes into your basket, and then you walk the feet in, aiming to get the hips above the shoulders, and then you might practice bringing one knee in, and then the other, and you might find, okay, both can come up. Eventually, we want to work towards lifting the legs up straight to come up for headstand. But again, little by little, that is all core that. Well, I haven't done a full headstand for ages. Remember, keep lifting up out of the shoulders. Pubic bone comes forward if you're in a full headstand. Okay, and then once you can do your full headstand, you start to work on being able to come down halfway. And then you hold it halfway. I don't know if I'm halfway-ish. And then whatever you've been doing will come down, come into a child's pose. Reach the arms forward, relax your shoulders, and just let everything settle down. That feels like a nice child's pose that after that shoulder stuff, doesn't it? Make sure that your abdomen is relaxed and your shoulders are relaxed in your child's pose. Okay, and then when you're ready, we'll come back up to all fours, stepping it back, coming down through the knees or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale to look forward and then take a seat. Silently. Okay, and then we come into cross legs or half lotus or full lotus, whatever. Again, don't compromise your knees. I know some of us can do the lotus actually, so you could come into full lotus if you want to, or stick to cross legs. Okay, arms behind you. You can take the wrists, the forearms, but if you can take the elbows, great. Okay, so eventually here, when we're in full lotus, we bind as well. So you take one hand to one big toe and the other to the other. So depending on how in your half lotus you are, you might want to start to think about that. Okay, inhale to lift the chest. And then exhale, come forward. Try to stay heavy in the sit bones. As soon as that feels too much, you stop and then you relax the head and neck. And then take 10 breaths. 1, just let everything settle back down. 2, 3, 4, so letting go. 5, let go of your abdomen. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then inhaling to come back up. Placing thumb and forefinger together. Rest the hands over the knees, sit up nice and tall, so heart center lift, shoulders down, chin to the chest, gaze to the tip of the nose, 10 breaths. 1, again, let go of the abdomen. 2, and it's just a normal soft breath now. 3, as everything begins to settle down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then inhale, lift your head. So eventually here, if you're in full lotus, we take the hands down by the hips and then we lift everything up for 10 breaths as well. But we'll come straight into a last vinyasa. Skip it if you want to, as always. Otherwise, cross your legs, step or jump back. Coming down through the knees or chaturanga. I know some teachers actually make you hold the lifted half lotus for 25 breaths. Inhale, up, dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, and then inhale to look forward. Come to seated, however. And then lie down. Well done. Best way to start the day. Come to Savasana, arms out by your side. Maybe you take the feet as wide as the mat and then just completely relax. Really important just to let our nervous system settle down now. So completely let go. Release your jaw. Relax your throat. Soften behind your eyes. And relax deep into your abdomen. And now just slowly beginning to bring your awareness back. Gently moving fingers and toes. Taking a nice long inhale, having a stretch. Arms up overhead, maybe interlace fingers, have a full body stretch. You could bend up the knees, bring them into the chest, give yourself a hug, take a twist, so just whatever, any move, any stretch. And then when you're ready, making your way to your right hand side. And then finding your way back to seated. Well done. Well done. Best way to start the day. Bit of Ashtanga primary series. Okay. So then bringing the hands together in front of the heart. Relax your shoulders. Soften your facial muscles. Just observing the whole of your body as sensation. Taking a nice long inhale through the nose. And then cleansing breath out through the mouth. Namaste. Thank you very much. Happy Friday. I'll see you all. Right, unfortunately, I've got to take Tintin back to the vet this morning. I'm going to record a hatha as soon as I can today and share the link. And then I'll send you all the links for stuff this week if you want them. I'm getting my head around it finally. I'll see you all very soon.
Bye.
Lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.